Oh, what are we gonna do about all this? There's too much of it. Just gotta go. Sorry, people. You guys already know what time it is. We're back in the yard. Welcome. If y'all don't mind, I'm gonna open this caffeinated drink. It'll help me get through the filming session. Keeping it classy, putting it on the rocks. Why not? I love all manner of mystery potions and elixirs. I don't know what's in this, but it looks like piss. Cheers. Clank. In my last video, we looked at some very bad dating stories. Scary, nightmarish, freakish, two thumbs way down. Among the many responses that video received, a fairly prominent one was from mostly women saying, "Oh God, oh God, oh God, this is why I don't date anymore."
Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh my God, Holy Mother of God, oh God.
And while I empathize with this response, given the not so great showing from the stories we looked at, he tried to stab me. The thing is, people go on great dates all the time. You just don't hear about it on a video about bad dates. So to inject some hope into your lives, we're gonna look at the good stories today. Good dating stories, that's the topic. So let's jump in. I met a guy on Tinder and really liked him. I downloaded the app when I was bored, at home with COVID, so we had talked every day for about a week before we could meet. We got evening coffee and he suggested we walk the sunset at the park. It was so lovely. Quick trigger warning here for suicidal ideation. He didn't know, but it was a riverfront park and I had actually gone there during my worst mental health crisis since being medicated about a year earlier, thinking that I should drown. Now that park makes me think of his cigarettes and fancy iced tea and sunsets. Lol. We went back to my house and had amazing sex. He wasn't pushy, but just really into it, if that makes sense. Ooh-wee. Are you seeing this right now? Are you serious right now, bro? We love that, and we also love how you could tell based on how this person is describing this experience that the amazing sex wasn't just amazing sex in the bedroom, it was a build up to that point. There was a good connection. Yes. It definitely wasn't something I usually do, but he made me feel comfortable and I'm really glad I did. We kind of mutually decided it wasn't a love match, but we are still friends. He's a singer-songwriter and so he can really write when he feels like it, and I've always had a thing for guitarists. But yeah, it never felt like he was playing a game, he just thought I was nice and fun and hot. It was honestly even a healing experience. We just love that for you. We love it. I've been trying to talk about how hookup culture does not have to be showing up and just going bleh, and then disconnecting from a person and just having it be all the bad things that are typically associated with hookup culture. It can be great stuff like this, a good memory for someone, a healing memory, a positive experience, and a connection that remains. I think this example is great because it shows that, you know, while there are plenty of freaks on Tinder, there's also normal people there too that are just looking to have a fun date. Evening coffee with a sunset walk. It's pretty fucking adorable. Granted, this is probably rare, but they're out there. So yeah, that's it for guitarist river hotsex.jpg. Let's go to the next one. This was actually fairly recent, and I still find myself smiling about how well these couple of dates went, even though it didn't end up going the distance. We met on Bumble, and the energy was immediately perfect. This video is not sponsored by any dating apps. Just know, normal people exist, and they use dating apps. Every joke hit, our core values were obviously in line, and we were both able to make the other person feel seen and heard in a way that made it easy to be vulnerable and transparent. That transparency was amazing for communicating our feelings on how things were going, whether it was okay for a kiss or a hug, where we wanted to eat, etc. My only regret is that the timing was bad for her, as she was in a transitional period of her life and started to feel overwhelmed. Or so she said, and I have no reason to doubt based on our honest communication. Normal guy alert, normal guy alert. Bro, what you don't realize is that she was using you for a quick meal and Bro doesn't even know about the 80-20 distribution Pareto principles. Bro thinks having a kind heart will get him to the top of the hierarchy. Get out of town. No, but the key here is that when this person looks back on the memories, he smiles, okay? Not everything has to be some big like, oh. It can just be a silly little time where you're goofing off and having it sip together, you know? You know what else you can sip on is some fantastic sex. Using sex toys from the sponsor of today's video, Lilo. Healthy and fulfilling sex is very important to a happy relationship, and a big part of that kind of sex is making sure that everybody's busting a whole lot. And what better way to do that than by using some of the powerful and high quality tools that Lilo has to offer. Tools like the Lilo Dot. The Lilo Dot is a clitoral pinpoint vibrator. It is used externally and allows for multiple orgasms. Thanks to its soft and bendable tip and revolutionary elliptical motion, the Lilo Dot offers climaxing with unmatched precision. There are 8 different vibration patterns varying in intensity from a teasing murmur to a satisfying pulse. The Lilo Dot is USB rechargeable and fully waterproof, so You can enjoy unlimited climaxes anytime, anywhere. Or you could try the Tor 2. Lilo sent me over a Tor 2 couples ring as well, and this thing is, well, it's not for your finger. It's for your penis cock. The Tor 2 is a flexible vibrating cock ring that offers the most thrilling and intense pleasures for both partners. It boasts more powerful vibrations than any product of its kind and features a smooth silicone design that comfortably fits all sizes. Enjoy bigger, longer, and more intense orgasms together and in many different sex positions. The Tor is fully flexible, and like the Lilo Dot, it is 100% waterproof and USB rechargeable. Celebrate love this Valentine's Day, reconnect with yourself or your significant other, and seize some of the great discounts that Lilo has going on for their 20th birthday. Alright, now let's get back to the video. I went to the mall alone when I was dead broke. I decided to risk it all, my last $5 on a prize machine. On the $5th, I got a $50 gift card for the movies. So I took my then girlfriend to see Moana, popcorn and all. It was a magical experience. We whispered to each other the whole movie. I love her, and we've been happily married for 5.5 years. Me when happily ever after. Wow. This is the only grind set story that I will accept, coming from nothing, balled out on the skill crane, and now you got a wife. Also, shout out to them for being respectful and whispering to each other and not talking. It's two birds with one stone there, because, you know, you're whispering, kind of romantic, up in somebody's ear like, wow, you see that big crab guy? You know, he was in Flight of the Conchords. Oh, you haven't seen Flight of the Conchords? Oh, it's really, we'll watch it. It's really fun. I think you'd like it. Your sense of humor would probably enjoy it. I think so. See that big guy that looks like Dwayne The Rock Johnson, kind of stretched out a little bit? That's Dwayne. He's The Rock. It's Dwayne The Rock Johnson. You can do that. It can be super sexy, and you don't even bother the people around you. Win-win. One time, I went to get coffee with a friend of a friend just to introduce ourselves, since we were going to be seeing a lot more of each other. We ended up talking for nearly 3 hours. It wasn't intended as a date, but I left feeling heard and having enjoyed listening to their stories and opinions. Anybody that can listen patiently to me ramble and also open up about themselves is a good friend, or sometimes a good date. We got married last summer. Oh, shit. Oh. I love this shit worked out, and it's dope reveal at the end. I love these. Do we notice any common themes here? Yeah. Ding, ding, ding. I have a teacher. I have one. Please call me. Oh, okay.
Noah, you go ahead, you little shit.
Yeah, it's listening, you know? Listening to the other person, really hearing them and hearing what they're saying and reciprocating that energy. The other thing is that the experience went on longer than initially probably intended because of that connection. You know, it's like, oh, in my head, this is supposed to be a set amount of time, but I'm having fun. Why not just hang out some more? That's some good shit. And my girlfriend B and I met on Tinder in 2018. We had both recently moved to a mid-sized Midwestern city and didn't have many friends living in the area. We ended up having our first date on the 4th of July. We went to have lunch somewhere and then afterwards got ice cream. We were both having a good time, so we decided to go find a place to watch fireworks together. We wound up at a historic jazz club in downtown that was mostly empty, but there was a band playing and the music and drinks were great. As the sun set, the band quit playing so the patrons could go up to the second-story patio to watch the fireworks display they have downtown. We went up there and hung out with the band playing, sharing weed, drinks, and stories. Another patron read our fortune and sensed good things between us. Oh yeah. As the fireworks were going off, she asked me to kiss her, and it was just magical. We got intimate later that night, and the rest is history. We didn't start officially dating until September of that year, but it was pretty obvious from the start that something was going to materialize. We made a pact that after 5 years, if we were still together, then we'd get married, and we're still together, and I plan to propose on a trip to New England later this year in September. B likely won't see this, but if she does, surprise. Love you, B. AH. Shit! Everybody comment, hey B, AH won'ts you, and spell won'ts like W-O-N-T with an apostrophe and then an S. Yeah, well, congrats on the sex and a good relationship. Oh, that's awesome though. It's a very sweet story. And another Tinder date. Who would have thought? Who would have thunk? Normalize not telling your relatives and friends that you met in an obscure manner by bumping into someone on the street and getting their number. Normalize saying, I swiped on that person because they were cool and hot. We were friends initially, and after a while, he admitted that he had romantic feelings for me. It was really sweet, but I told him I needed time to think about it and asked him if he was okay staying friends. I literally despise that people call this the friend zone, but anyways, 100% weird construct, the friend zone, the purgatory place where you have a friend. It's someone that likes you and wants to be your friend. It's purgatory because they don't want to take it any further. Kitty has returned. Hi. He was so kind about it, not spiteful whatsoever, and we were able to continue hanging out with each other as friends for months with no awkwardness at all. In those couple of months, I fell for him and we started dating. This was during the pandemic, and as an immune-compromised person, I wasn't comfortable going on typical date places like restaurants or any kind of event. So he would take me on walks on the trails next to my apartment, masked up, staying 6 feet away from me, and we would just walk and talk for hours. This is some romantic shit. Sorry. Pointing out parts of the scenery we hadn't noticed before, laughing, and just enjoying each other's presence during a time where socializing was incredibly difficult. He even had the idea to go on social distance picnics with me when the parks weren't crowded. I must say that the patience and dedication he had for taking me on dates during an extremely tense and scary time, all while being as safe as possible, really melted my heart. I love my partner dearly and plan on marrying him someday. Wow, wow, wow. It's not just your heart that was melted, it was me and all my audience members who loved that story, probably. How can you hate it? It's adorable. Oh, also, they've been together for 3 years. It says it at the front, but I'm secretly cutting that out so it can be a big surprise at the end when it's like, oh, we're married, we have 30 kids, we're 100 years old. I think it was less so the first date that mattered. We had liked each other for a while at that point. But the night before she asked me out on that first date, we had a late night rehearsal and I walked back to her car and we just had this moment when we got to it where we just sort of looked at each other in silence. A moment of tension, almost where we both wanted to say something, but neither wanted to spoil the moment. We each had a million things to say, but could only muster the courage for one last good night, drive safe. She said later in the relationship that was the moment where she knew, and I have to agree. Looking back at that relationship, that's one of the main moments that sticks with me. Why do all of you live in a fucking rom-com? This is crazy. Just staring in silence knowing that that's the moment. Fuck. Like, this is something you cannot retroactively create. You cannot try to pursue these moments in any way other than them naturally happening and being special. That's fire. You know, it's just really cool. We went ice skating and she was super open to it despite not being sure she could do it. As soon as we met, we started talking and basically didn't stop. I helped her a bit with the skating and she didn't seem shy about accepting help or admitting she was getting tired. She then suggested that we go grab some coffee, which let me know that she was enjoying my company, which was a great way to calm my nerves. She seemed very open to my quirks and way of speech, which can be a bit peculiar, which made me feel more confident. I guess overall, it was openness and honesty that really made it for me. Yep, you see it. You see what's going on. The signs get laid down and then you read the signs. Why don't we do something more so I can be with you for more time because I'm having a good time? What could this mean? I love it. You're a smart fella, guy. Not really much to say about that one other than congrats. You cuties, good job. My first date with an old ex of mine where she asked to kiss me and I said, "You want to kiss me?" And she responded, "Yes." We're not together anymore, but I still wish her the best. Aw, very sweet. Can I kiss you right now?
You want to kiss me?
Yeah, I'd like to kiss you right now.
Are you sure about? Are you positive?
Yeah, no, I'm sure. I'm pretty sure. Is that
okay? Yeah. Fuck it. Let's go.
Wonky slush.
Vocal cues, quite epic, very fun and flirty times. My first date with this person was us going to the movies together, and then we walked around the mall for a little bit afterwards. It was pretty ordinary, but they were so engaged, conversational, and generally just clearly happy to be there with me that it made me feel so thankful I was with this person. I felt as if I could spend all day with them just talking about stupid things. It was an incredibly positive experience. I felt incredibly valued as a person. Incredible. Dates don't have to be anything crazy, you know? You just literally just are spending time with somebody, literally doing anything you literally want. Dropping any and all pretenses about what the purpose of a date is, what you're trying to achieve or accomplish, and just being like, there's a person right here. You're a person too. You like it when you have a silly time. Why don't you both have a silly time together? It's so simple. I had a date with an ex where we went to a mall and started out at the food court to sit down and eat and chat a bit. It was pleasant. He was polite, kind of quiet, a good listener, and I felt fairly comfortable with him. I say fairly because we met on Tinder, and those first dates always have you a little on guard, especially as a woman. Okay, this is very true. When I earlier was saying that Tinder isn't full of weirdos, there are a lot of weirdos, but I'm trying to keep it positive, but valuable concerns, the statistics about dating app harassment, who experienced the brunt of it, on the screen now. Look it up. Google is cheap. But I wasn't positive it was going to go anywhere. I wasn't sure if our energy was matching. After we ate, we started walking around the mall and came across a stand that was selling calendars. One called Babies Underwater baffled us. It was literally photos of babies underwater, I guess in an artistic way. We just stopped and stared at it for a second, wondering why someone would make it and why someone would buy it. And he said something along the lines of, "You can really see the life draining from his eyes." And I busted out laughing. After that, we were cracking all kinds of weird jokes while in stores, and the vibes were really great. By the end of the date, I knew I wanted to see him again, and we ended up dating for 2 years. But boom, this one simple trick will have you giggling and laughing all the way to a 2-year-long relationship. I really like the description of that dilemma, that early dilemma of like, oh, I'm not really sure if this person is right for me. Because maybe in an alternate universe, he doesn't crack that joke. And maybe there's never a comfortable connection with humor. And maybe after the date, they say, hey, look, I don't think this is right, but let's stay friends or whatever. Because that happens, and that's totally, it's totally fine. But he did it, and good job. Baby death joke. I like it. All in all, just felt like he was never trying to show off or prove anything on the date. He was just a kind human being who made me feel comfortable and I could laugh at weird stuff with. Weird to think back on the date and how a baby's underwater calendar was the turning point. We joked about that calendar all throughout our relationship. Just way too adorable. Goddamn. Y'all gotta chill. Y'all gotta chill the fuck out. My best first date was with my current partner of 6 years. This goober spilled his milkshake all over himself and looked to me like a hurt puppy. Oh, just like covered in milky, creamy, like when a toddler spills something and like they're old enough to know that it's bad and they're like, I'm sorry. I think this very candid and genuine incident really bonded us right away. It set the stage for two people that aren't afraid to look silly in front of each other and are willing to laugh and help each other when we make mistakes. Milkshakemistakes.jpg, that's the name of the file. Wow. The moral of this story is if a date isn't going well, spill something all over yourself and then bark like a baby dog. That's such like a peculiar but hilarious way to form a connection, I don't know, it's great. Generally, my favorite first dates happen after I already talked to guys for a while and we share our sense of humor. And they're extra special when guys are a bit shy, but just a bit because we have talked a lot already, not paralyzed with fear, goofy and kind to you, not very sexually forward, then you feel like they don't want to ruin it. All that just makes me warm on the inside. Me and the bad bitch I pulled because I'm terrified of women. This is like precisely why I think the manosphere is such a fascinating thing to look at, because they're always giving men advice about being alpha, being dominant, doing all these things to impress upon them your strength. But a lot of girls just like a guy who's a little bit weird. And of course, some girls like the alpha guys too, of course, but that's the beauty of dating, is like there's different tastes for sort of everything. So don't let anybody tell you how to act. Don't let me tell you to be a silly weirdo if you're like a because you can your way into whatever type of thing you want. I don't know. There's a lot of people in the world. Who cares? The not being sexually forward as a positive thing is another really interesting and important thing. I think men are generally socialized to be sex obsessive. And so when you're very forward about it, this is something that literally is the standard experience on apps, or it's a very common experience of people being really forward, and it's like, that's a lot. And so when she says, that ruins it, it does ruin it, because it's like you were operating on the standard that so many men feel the need to operate on because of how culturally we view sex as this important achievement and something to always be pursued at any moment. Ayo, what up? Hi. My girlfriend and I have been together for about 4 years now. Our first date was just some drinks and food, but we had a nice conversation and good eats. Clearly was a good one because the aforementioned 4 years thing. Okay, well you didn't have to spoil it, but congrats. Also, this one dude was wildly fucked up. He kept trying to join our conversation, and afterwards she told me he kept trying to play footsies with her. What the fuck? We were in the same grad program, so she and I talked about school, but also our interests like music. After a while, the bar got so loud I couldn't hear what she was saying, so I just nodded along. She knows all this. Good date. I'm gonna go give her a forehead kiss. She'll probably pull away because she's watching a training thing for work. Right on, man. I love the way you write. It's so matter of fact. I can see why she likes you. You got that straight to the point charisma. This message doesn't even sound like it was typed. It sounds like it poured directly out of your conscience into my phone. Very happy and gay. Trans man here, lol. But yes, about 2 years ago, I went on a first date with my future partner. It was just very well planned out. Like, they did research on stuff I was into and basically planned the perfect date for me. A trip to the San Diego Zoo, which I've never been to before previously. I saved this image as zooboys.jpg, so spot on. Here we go. Not saying that you have to pay on the first date, but it was nice that they paid for my ticket. But yeah, they were very respectful the whole time and just always checked in on me to see if I was having a good time. Caring and empathetic Riz, bulletproof, undefeated, checking in on someone to see how they're doing. Love that. They just really charmed me with their kindness. I think that was the biggest thing. They also didn't act like I owed them anything, so that gave us both room to explore our feelings and what we wanted in the future. Basically, all the first dates were like that though. We would switch off on suggesting places and activities we knew the other would like. Communication is key. You would think more people would know that, but they don't, which I think is a little interesting. No, it is. It is super interesting that like listening and communication are just such simple things, yet so foundational to having good relationships with people. Even if you're not dating, just like friendships and shit, family, but especially on dates, like first dates, I don't know, just seems like a basic thing. But you know, as we looked at in those previous stories, some people just don't get that, and makes it a, you know, worse experience for at least one person. I had an amazing first date. We are lesbians. We met on Tinder. In stereotype fashion, our first date was about 2 days long. We both told one another later that we had almost swiped left on one another. Obviously, we are thankful we didn't. I could tell she was nervous about the date, but there's also definitely a natural confidence underneath that, which I liked. She was an extremely open person. I too am an open book type of person. She didn't make me feel like I was oversharing. Every TMI kind of topic was met with a similar openness and honesty about her experiences, what she wanted in life, etc. The dinner was 2 hours because we kept talking. Little time extension because it's going well, you know. Then we walked around for probably an hour more. She came home with me and we genuinely did just watch videos and movies and talk a ton about everything. She talked a lot about her family, and it became clear that she was a very giving person. I love someone who is fiercely loving and caring about their friends and family. You can tell how someone may treat you by how they talk about and treat others around them, strangers and known individuals. We've been married for 4.5 years now. She was my first date with a woman after coming out. So happy I get to be her wife. Whew, damn. That's as good as any of a story to end on, because that's beautiful. I love that point about seeing how someone views and talks about the people in their lives, because it is a seriously easy to read for the most part and genuine indicator of like who someone is. And you know, I don't know, it's really cool. Bebito is here, say hi. Quick Bebito times. Mwah. Okay, make sure to follow her on Instagram, everybody. All right, everybody, that's it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed. We'll be back with some more probably bad stories soon, sorry, but let me know what you thought of this one. I had fun. Thanks again to Lilo for sponsoring today's video. Use the link in the description for his Valentine's Day deal to get some cool fun bazoingas. And yeah, hope you have a good time thing. Bye-bye.